All set. Okay. All right. So let me open up the agenda here. Thank you for putting that together. All right. So our first order of business is consideration of minutes from the last meeting.
Yes.
So we had the meeting on, was the 10th? No.
Yep.
10th.
Was it the 10th?
Everybody have a chance to review the meeting minutes?
Yes.
There's one minor correction, and that's to a date.
What was that?
One minor correction. So we voted on the concert at Darrett Hall, and it says for 8/27, but the date should actually be the 26th.
Okay. Are we being recorded?
Yes.
Okay.
It's a fog, but we're
Making sure Matt heard that. Okay.
all right. So want to make a motion and
Yeah, make a motion to approve the meeting minutes with that minor correction for, what was it, 8/10?
9:10.
9/10.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye, abstain, or oppose, abstain, so it carries, and that's 5-0-1. Look at that, we're moving right through.
Yeah.
All right, public input. Yeah, because we don't have it on anything else, so you can come on up and just state your name and your address and
Rachel Barkley at 14 McWeston Circle. So we had talked back and forth about the budget for next year.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you guys have any questions about what we should be doing or what I had sent for the budget or.
so you guys got the email?
Playground. Yep.
Um,
Is the AC on or something? It's
I think so.
freezing. Yeah. It's
So,
freezing.
so to give you a little back, I mean, basically, our budget is very minimal. We have, actually 10 years ago it was more. It was about $100,000. 10 years ago, it's down to the mid 90s now. And we've picked up a lot more facilities. So we kind of had a luxury of being able to purchase all that equipment last year by encumbering. More equipment will probably have to be something that we either fundraise for or put a warrant article for. The mulch, things of that nature, the maintenance of our current parks is definitely something that we can budget into our current budget, because obviously we want to maintain the facilities that we have.
Right. So part of that figure was about $500 that Andrew had kind of estimated for mulch annually, which is kind of, we don't know yet until we do start that first
and
year.
we probably need to look at Jeff Lane. No, that's the only other playground that we have now at this point, right? And because we want to do something similar to there, because once that equipment is set up again, obviously we want to make sure. I think if we keep it done on an annual basis, it's not this big
Right.
Right.
deal. It's just okay, get
Right.
it out there, spread it out, and have almost like the spring cleanup. We could even ask softball to make that part of their field cleanup day if we get the mulch there, because they have a lot of hands on deck usually. And baseball, we could do the same
Spread
thing.
things, yep.
So that could.
Okay. Yeah, the other part of that was a support arm for the Typhoon slide, which I know it said it's fine the way it is right now, but it is missing a support arm technically. So I don't know if that considers.
Well, that's what I was
considered a
wondering. I mean,
maintenance item.
that structure has been there quite some. Is there any way we can in our budget do something to fix that long? I know we've had it. Was it reinforced a couple of years ago?
Yes. Because that was not the original piece.
Right.
Yeah, I think that there was a support arm at one point. And
Yeah.
I think
Well,
it
there
broke
was
off.
a slide there. And the same year that they burnt down the porta potty, they poured gasoline down the slide and lit the slide on fire. So that was 15 years ago.
Yeah, it was before I got here. Yeah.
So the previous, the rec commission that was before us, I was right there at joined at the tail end of that, had ordered a replacement piece, and I'm not sure exactly where they got it, but it was supposed to be installed properly. It was installed by the guys that did the playground. So if it is missing a support arm, we can contact them. And
Okay, yeah, the quote was from the Miracle Playground, the place
Okay.
that we got the
and
slide,
what was,
the
because I
swings
saw
and
the general amount. I didn't see the specific quote for just the.
Yeah, what was on that was the support arm and then just some benches, just as an estimate for benches, because that was the other thing that I didn't know if we could put on the budget or not, because I figured all the other kind of like fun things we could definitely fundraise for. And
Yeah.
any of the equipment type stuff.
And benches we can easily, those are usually easy to fundraise
Yeah.
for, because you can get people to donate it and put a plaque on the bench.
Yeah, we had considered that. Yeah. Yeah, I've been talking
Is that
to
the
Ben
lumber
Wood about
that
it.
was left over from the guardrail? Is that all
Well, that's,
being used for something else, or?
we was going to be putting another guardrail on the other side. So the whole idea is to get both sides cordoned off so that we don't want vehicles going into the,
Gotcha.
into the playground area and protecting, the kids and the equipment.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but there might be some left over for benches, depending on what we
Yeah, I mean,
use.
if there is, we can throw a couple more benches out.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
That's all I had.
All right. Well, thank you very much for
Yeah.
everything you did.
Yeah, definitely.
and-
We'll probably start fundraising for some other stuff. I mean, I guess for the benches, we'll just figure out when the guardrail's going up and see what's left.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing too is in talking to Kurt, the granite benches are actually quite reasonable, and that might be something we might want to look at too,
Okay.
because those definitely, the wooden benches can get, if we don't put them in the ground, they're going to be gone, and they'll get damaged and different things. But the granite will be there, and those are really nice. And I think it was, if I remember correctly, it's like $180 for a 4-foot granite bench,
That's not bad, really.
which I was surprised at. And I guess it's
You're not
probably
gonna carry those off.
Yeah,
You're
right.
not gonna carry
No.
those off.
no, and you're not really gonna, you can't burn them. You can't. There's certain. I'm sure you can spray paint them and do different things, but
So just before Rachel, so they're looking for yearly maintenance on the playground. Some of it, so the mulch coming out of our budget, we would put mulch into our budget.
yes.
And then,
Well, the mulch is already. It's kind of been built in there.
Yep.
Already.
okay, so that's built in, but the maintenance, basic items for next year, the power washing, the annual mulch, yes, which will be in our budget. The support arm, is that what you'd be fundraising for?
No,
And
that
a
will see.
typhoon
If,
slide?
that we'll see if we can get into our budget. next
Okay,
The power washing too, or is that
so
something?
power washing, mulch,
year.
and support arm.
It's probably just a one time. It's
I mean,
dirty.
I can borrow a power washer. I have,
I think
I've
the issue is that the water source is on the other side of
yeah, I don't know how.
Talent Hall, so there's no residential power washer. I think that can
That's that
reach
long,
that
okay.
long.
Oh no,
and
we have water right out there.
be effective.
We can talk to. We can get it right from the irrigation system.
Oh,
Oh, we
okay.
can?
Okay, then yeah, that works.
So because you can hook a hose up like at the the hose hookups.
I know that's by the shed, right? The irrigation
Yeah.
system? Yeah.
So we can
Okay.
probably get water right there.
Yeah, then that totally works.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
we were
we'd
told
be
that there
able
was just that
to,
one water source, so that's the
No, there's
information that's going in.
Actually, inside Talent Hall, right on that door side, there's a mop sink in there, and actually we use that to power wash. There was graffiti on the slabs at one time, and actually it was hot water
Oh,
that came out, and it really did a job
yeah. Okay.
with the power washer. So
Okay. Yeah, that works then.
so it sounds like the power washing can be handled by
Yeah.
some, like a person, but benches, mulch, and support arm, we would try to get into our budget,
the benches, I think we'll try and fundraise for. but
try to
the-
fundraise for the, okay, so I want to make sure we have it clear before
Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
leaves. We will put in our budget mulch and the support arm.
Right. And actually, the selectmen voted on the budget last night, so I'm going to have to meet with the budget committee and try and get that added in. We'll just sort of figure that out.
Still thought on the benches too. Didn't the high school build the benches that are in Albuquerque? Maybe they might
One got
be
just
interested.
Yeah.
destroyed.
I think we talked about that a couple of
Yeah.
times.
Phone if you want.
and that's definitely another option too.
It's a matter of
Someone, I
who
don't
had a
know who-
contact there to talk to about it. That's, I think
Someone built the picnic tables at Sawmill. I
So
don't-
that was Ben.
Yeah.
That's who I'm talking to
who
about
was that?
Ben Wood.
Oh,
And I've been
That's
talking to him about, he was going to make some benches too. So I gave
Those are
that quote just
beautiful.
as like a estimate on what benches might cost if we buy them. But he's been trying to get me a pricing for him building some too.
Great.
So, which I haven't just heard back from that yet.
so any additional items you would try to fundraise for?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Any of the play equipment at this
Are you
point.
still moving forward with the typhoon slide or?
Well, the typhoon slide is what's there.
I mean, I'm sorry. What was it? What was it?
Is it web?
So Webscape.
Yes. thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we have to figure out fundraising. That's the kind of the next step. I think that's the next thing that everyone definitely wants is the big webscapes. So
And there was the other swing, right?
the ADA swing. Yeah.
Yes.
That
Which-
hasn't been purchased yet, right?
No,
The
no.
the swing, structure is there.
Right.
We just have to get something that would fit.
And the other thing I had a question on that is, do we need to do anything special with the ground leading up to the ADA swing?
That would be my issue with it, like
Yeah.
some sort of access to it, because it's all roots and stuff out there. So you
Right.
might need to put some gravel with like a, finished.
Right, we
stone
just want to make sure it's
stuff.
accessible. We don't want to have it there and not have it be accessible.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd have to kind of review what, I mean, the person who had requested said it was fine, but obviously we can look at it a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, it's nice. It would be a nice addition.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Possible.
perfect to just have it right in the structure that we
Yeah.
have there anyways.
Right.
So definitely. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks.
All right, so no other public input? Any facility and field requests? I don't think we've seen any new
I
ones.
have mine that I made at the end. We ended the meeting beforehand. It was for the 25th for another paint night
Okay,
of October. So again, we have the insurance. I'll get the detail. Just paint night on the 21st. I'm sorry, 25th of October. I'd like to do from 5 to 11.
all right. And
There was
again,
nothing
that's
in the-
for the
Boosters.
Boosters Club.
See. So there's nothing on the calendar. I checked. I put ourselves in to block it off,
Right,
but we were going to vote on it. Or
okay. So would you like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'd like to make a motion for paint night to be held at Talent Hall on October 25th, which is a Friday. The event will be from 7 to 10, but I would like access from 5 to 11 for setup and breakdown
A second.
for the Campbell High Booster Club.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, great.
And that's the event where they sort of, the tables and the shed was,
That was long time ago.
okay.
Andy.
I just want to make sure.
It's so much, well, I like them on the stage. It's just so much easier.
Right, but they really need to get off of there.
They do, yeah, but that's where they are right now. So,
All right.
so not even in the shed.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion or any discussion?
And I have the insurance in the detail.
Okay, hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries 600.
Thank you, guys.
Was there another?
Just wanted that one to verify because the Christmas and
Yeah.
Litchfield reached out to me just to double check that we're good for their date, which was December 7th, a Saturday. We had already approved it. It wasn't on the Talent Hall
Right.
calendar, so I just wanted to.
Do you mind putting
I don't mind at all, yep. So
Okay. Yeah, and that
go-
doesn't really
go
have to
off
get approved. 'cause it's
the email that
part
you
of
sent,
us.
Yeah, but to hold the calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'll have that
I'll
on.
block it off right now.
Any other facility and field requests? All right, new business, the field maintenance RFP.
Hmm.
So I shared that
You
with.
did, yep.
Hopefully everybody got a chance to look at it. Kurt had chimed in that there is talk of the DPW wanting to start getting, working on cutting. It wouldn't be something they could do next year. So we would have to go for a full-blown RFP for cutting and maintenance next year. So he wanted to know if we wanted to do it with a one-year contract. 2-year contract or what the deal is. So,
So I'm sorry, Andy, did you say they would be starting next year?
no, they wouldn't be capable of doing it next year.
They
It would
wouldn't
be the
be,
following
okay.
year.
So 2021.
Correct.
Okay.
So we need at least a minimum of 1-year contract with a vendor to
Right.
maintain the field.
So, what I'd like to do is get the RFP out there. I would like the field maintenance part to be at least 2 years,
Mhm.
not the grass cutting. I mean, just for, all the fertilization line, slice, overseeding, aeration, opening and closing of the irrigation system, as one asset or aspect of the, or one RFP, one, and then another one for just the cutting of the fields. We can get 2 bids. It can be awarded to the same company, but I'd like to do I think what we should do is the 1 year for the field cutting and see what happens with the DPW. And then we can do multi-year for the maintenance.
Now, would you think we should break it down where, so you have the maintenance of the field, the limings and all that stuff, then have a contract or break the actual cutting of the fields out separately, and then break the perimeter cleanup, like around the buildings and where you have like maybe crabgrass growing or because my concern is, will the DPW be able to maintain the same consistency that the contractor would on the grass that he's dealing
Well,
with?
that's the plan. They would be able to cut it. It's they won't have the capability of doing all the other stuff.
Right, but would they be able to cut it as well?
Do we,
Will we still get the same level of service and care for the grass, where if the contractor's out there working on the grass, he's spending a lot of time on it. As you said, if he sees something, an issue, he'll address it. My concern is, I think the DPW may be a little bit rushed, so we may get some inconsistent cutting, or if the blades aren't sharp enough, or, I just think that the field maintenance itself will be one, maintenance cutting of the grass of the fields would be another, than perimeter cutting, like at the river, around the building at.
Well, because eventually what they want to do is all that cutting around the facilities will also include here, the fire station,
Okay.
the library, all that stuff. So when that does occur, it will probably lose some money in our budget, but I think that money will get paid out of a different budget.
Okay.
I think the town would save a ton of money doing it themselves.
Yeah, if it's done right, I
I'm
think
just
they
concerned
can.
about the quality.
The quality,
Is this done by other municipalities that they have town workers maintaining
yeah.
the grounds, and then they outsource to
Well, I mean,
other companies?
it wasn't supposed to happen. One of our last contractors actually did subcontract the cutting to a different company that just
Oh,
cut.
interesting.
Right, and we didn't.
Yeah.
That's why they were no longer with us,
Right.
because they did such a poor job.
But if you have the right equipment, it's
It's not just equipment; it's communication. I think it's more than just.
Experience.
It's more than
Yeah.
just. Are all of a sudden they pulled into another? Does the town say, "Oh, we need you over here today. We can't. You can't do the fields
Well, if you're
today."
paying a summer intern $10 an hour, and he's cutting it as fast as possible, and quick
Yeah.
turns.
well, and those are all. And
It's-
that's something that we'll need to investigate next year and sort of have that discussion. Then I'm not even ready to have that discussion yet.
Yep.
But I think that we probably should look at just having a 1-year contract for cutting next year, so that we have that option next year, and we can really dive into it and take a look at it.
And then, we had a way of getting out when it was poor. When we got poor quality, we were able to end the contract. If it's poor quality with the town, how do you end it?
How do you pull the budget back?
Yeah. How do you say, okay, this was a bad idea?
Well, that's a conversation with the selectmen.
Yeah.
At that point.
And I mean, that's why I think it's really good that they're.
Well, it'd be nice if we were involved with this conversation. We haven't been involved with it. So are they going to vote on something?
Well, no,
that we
they
have nothing to
this is something
say?
they have just brought up. This is
Okay.
just in the idea phase. The DPW is looking into the logistics of it and the feasibility of it. And once that's why they don't even have it ready yet. They're going to bring it to us, and it'll be our decision.
Okay.
So it's not just we'll have conversation. Part of the They can't,
Okay,
the
good. As
selectmen
long as-
can't say, no, you guys aren't doing this, we're doing this.
Good.
It's
And
up
it could
to
be
us.
like we do a 1 year trial experiment and then we make our final decision after that year or something,
Right,
like a stipulation like that. That way, if it's not going well, be like, well, it didn't go very well. We could just try hiring somebody again,
Yep.
So I don't know if anybody had a chance to look through the RFP. I started trying to figure out,
It's not very big. I know that.
verbiage wise, how to
Yeah.
break it out. And I was going to send it to Troy and see if he could wordsmith it a little bit better. Because we really don't have a lot of changes to it, other than
No.
the fact that we want to split this into 2 separate bids.
Now, if they're separate contractors, though, does that create an issue of like one of them, if it's not the same company, like how they be responsible for the quality? Like, what if the mower cuts it too low, and then the
Right.
field's messed up? Oh,
Well,
that's that guy.
and that's something that we would have to discuss. I mean, basically, what I'd like to see in this RFP is companies saying, this is the cost to cut, this is the cost for maintenance,
Yeah.
this is the cost if we do both. And that way we can sort of look at that for next year and make that decision.
Okay, so can we add that to the RFP to break it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think what I'll do is I'm going to involve Troy in that because I think he's a little bit
Okay.
more adept at
I thought this was a good RFP when we wrote it 2
Yeah.
years ago.
I think I tweaked a couple little things. I changed the dates, obviously.
Yep.
Are we actually getting copies of all the testing results on all this stuff that was mentioned? There's like, weekly soil testing, and
No,
No.
we're not.
I was just curious if it's actually happening or not.
That's a
that
good
would be my
question.
thing. Yeah, I don't want to be on the hook for something that we're actually not getting the service for,
Right. Did it say weekly soil testing?
Maybe monthly,
Yeah, I didn't think it was quite that.
bi-weekly testing of all irrigation zones and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, he does. He goes around and makes sure that they're all, and that's where we
Heads are
found
working.
a couple of sprinkle heads that were worn, and last year we found the one pump. No, 2 years ago, the pump at Dara.
Yeah, yeah.
The fins had to be replaced because he was testing them, and we weren't really getting the radius that we needed. So
You definitely know when the sprinklers aren't working.
yeah, this year we might not know as much. This was a pretty decent
Yeah, it
summer.
was good. It was good.
So, is there a reason you wouldn't want to go year to year for the full contract and just keep it packaged?
We did do year to year originally.
Right.
Right.
Then it was,
But the problem is, and the reason we were hesitant about it is right now, in talking to TLC, everything they're doing now is for next season. So if you have a year to year and every year we're switching them, they're going to be like, you know what? If I don't put down lime or I put half what I'm supposed to put, or I put garbage down there in the fall, nobody's going to know till next year, and they're going to blame the next guy. So it's sort of that continuity. It's nice to have at least a maintenance piece, so when they're blowing out the sprinkler heads and then they're opening it up the next year, there's a little bit more consistency with it.
But you get that same issue every second year, wouldn't you?
Right, but at least it's half. Or, I mean, we used to go until we got sort of burned by that one
Yeah.
contractor.
Yeah.
We had started going to a 3-year contract. And it's kind of nice because you have that consistency for those years, and we could really see the fields improving and
you can see quality or lack of quality. A 2-year window was pretty, you could see it. I mean,
Yeah.
whether we were fortunate, he turned it around. This most recent one, but prior to him, we went to a couple of different contractors, and it was bad. And we did how many years? I forget. A&A was A&A a 3-year contract?
A&A.
A&A? What was it? I think it was A&A. That's when we had to relieve.
That
Of the
doesn't ring a
contract.
bell. But yeah, it was originally that was the 3-year.
Yeah.
And we cut it. We had to cut that contract or release them of the contract because of poor performance. And then we went to a 2-year because we were like, all right, 3 years is way too much. We just,
How long has the current company been?
2. He's wrapping
2
up.
years?
Yeah.
And so far, the quality and the workmanship, everything looks.
Yeah.
There's
We're good with it. I mean, I know there's other members I think that aren't satisfied with it, but I've been satisfied with it.
And they do like Sawmill, they do the Corning fields, they do all the fields.
Sawmill,
Yes.
Corning, Justin, Dara, everything but the schools.
Right.
Gotcha.
And they did cut the river access for the ceremony for us,
Oh, good.
so that was nice. Doesn't
So
take much.
I was good with it, Andy. I liked it when we wrote it, but I think you're right. If they could itemize it better with breaking out, like you said, I guess mowing maintenance versus actual the overseeding, line, irrigation, all that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really comes down to seeding and liming. All he has to have a license.
You're right.
But
Correct.
to cut grass, he does not have to have a license.
You don't have to have a license for most of that. It's the pesticides that you
Oh,
need a
the
license for.
pesticides.
Yeah. Or
Is that
or
all
if
it
you're
is? I
going to
thought
be
it
using
was-
if you're not using natural fertilizers and things
Okay.
too, any chemicals. Our current guy actually went in and got his license because he did want to be able to. He had been for years. We had him for I think 7 or 8 years prior to going to a different company, and he was using all natural stuff, so there was no chemicals going on the fields. But then when he came back after it was 4 years to get rid of, there was a lot of crabgrass involved. There was a lot of weeds, so he wound up having to use chemical pesticide or not pesticides,
Herbicides.
herbicides to take care of the problem. So
So Andy, I see you have the date on here. When is the hope to get this out?
the hope is to get it out. I was hoping to vote on it in this meeting, but I hadn't had a chance to put it together. So we really should vote on the RFP before we release it.
Okay.
So I would like to vote on it in the next meeting.
Okay, that would be. Is that the 8th? Is that,
So that would mean we could get it out.
that would be the 8th.
We can get it out on the 9th,
Okay.
which then we should probably look at. I don't know if 2 weeks is enough time.
So requesting it back by the 22nd for our next meeting. So we voted on the 8th, it goes out on the 9th. We request it in for the 22nd by the 3 p.m. deadline? Is that,
Yeah. And we just pick the
And then
3
we can
p.m.
vote on it
deadline
then.
just because that's when the town hall closes, the office closes. And then we can open them. We can open them
at
that
the
night.
22nd meeting and vote.
Right.
Okay.
Well, usually what we do is we open them at that
Right.
meeting,
Review them, you're right,
review them.
Yeah.
We'll make copies of them and then we'll vote them at the following meeting.
right. So that would be November,
That way everybody sort of has
12th.
a chance to, if there's any questions that we have specifically about somebody's bid, or if we want to do any reference, call any references, etc.
Now, is that strictly you take the best price or?
It's the lowest qualified bid
Okay.
is what we're supposed to do.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
if we have a 17-year-old come in here and say, yeah, I can do the whole thing for 10 grand, we don't have to go with them because they're not qualified to do it. And if we have a bid that's $20,000 lower than everybody else, we'll do our due diligence and call some references. And if it comes back like, well, no, they have no experience in this and they don't know how to do this, or they're getting bad recommendations, obviously we wouldn't go with them either.
Would you consider putting any stipulations in here such as past experience, minimum 4 years experience type thing, or any insurance requirements?
I thought it had insurance requirements.
There is. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe I missed that part.
I thought we always requested insurance. I believe they come with insurance.
Yeah.
Their RFPs usually have insurance binder
Please
with
provide
them.
a certificate of insurance as well as your payment terms and conditions.
We haven't put in years of experience. That we haven't done.
But you'll be able to tell that by his bid and how close it is compared to the.
Yeah,
rest of
generally
the rest.
references.
Yeah.
They'll include references, and you can generally get an idea, or they'll say right on their business card, "Been in business, established, whatever." We had a young kid here for the last one.
Yeah.
Do a bid. Not young kid. He was
Right.
just.
Young
He had
guy.
done right. He hadn't done commercial yet. He was doing
It's expanded.
homeowner. Yep. Yep.
Right. And I mean, there's when you think about it, there's cresidential, there's commercial, and then there's athletic facilities.
Right.
You know, it's commercial. You can be doing all kinds of commercial stuff, but you're cutting grass that is just being looked at and never walked on.
Right.
This is a playable surface, which is something different. So I'll get that to Troy. We'll wordsmith it, get it out to everybody before next meeting, so we can vote on it next meeting.
One thing I
Get
know, I'm not sure if it was in here or not. Are they supposed to fix like holes and stuff like that? If there were, I remember at one of the baseball fields, I coached the t-ball. There was a hole that the kids kept digging out every week, or it just kept getting bigger and bigger. Is there anything about filling holes and?
So you're talking in the grass area, or was it
It's in
actually
a grass
in the
area.
field?
It was like kids had, playing second base had just dug a hole with their cleats, and it kept getting bigger and bigger.
What do you mean?
It was at Corning.
Right, but you're talking about the edge of the grass.
No, it was in the actual grass. It was like right in front of second base because they kind of play in on
Yeah.
the field because they're little. And like a couple kids had just kept kicking a hole, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And
Yeah, that would be something that we could cut, but that wouldn't be part of his regular maintenance.
it wouldn't be okay. I don't know if it's something maybe they
If
fix.
it's something that naturally is occurring and is part of the regular field, but if it's something that is damaged that's due to
Kids, right?
that
I
would
don't-
technically be misuse. Like
Yeah.
like we do ask, we know that there's going to be a lot of wear in front of the goals in the soccer, so we ask that to be overseeded once, but it's also understood with the soccer is they rotate and move where the nets are, because if they wind up being there and all of a sudden you get that divot just because it's just constantly used all year by everybody, that would be over and misuse of the field. And, they don't want to have to be out there seeding every week and filling it every week and then have to go back to that same thing every week. It's just sort of futile. Maybe we should make the infield shallower and take away more infield. Any other discussion on the RFP?
I think the timeline's good. If we can get it back in time for the next meeting, that'd be
Okay.
great.
Old business, the budget. So the budget went to the selectmen last night. I got tied up with students and parents last night. I couldn't make it. It looks like it went through as our old budget. So I am going to try and get in there and tweak for the support part.
Okay.
And I think everything else seems to be fairly well aligned. I mean, the biggest question mark we don't know is the heating system.
That was approved last night. He received a bid back and it was approved by the selectmen.
Right, but I mean, now once that's in, we don't know what kind of propane use we're going to have.
Yeah, the impact it'll have. It's a new heating system, but how efficient?
Yeah, I heard that last. Yeah,
Well,
only heat, not AC.
Not easy.
right, that's fine. Just, is it capable of going to AC?
I don't know. I thought that was one of
If
the
it's
requests
forced
that we were
air,
trying to
I
do.
would assume it probably is.
Yeah, but I mean,
So it should
usually
be-
the way the unit's set up, is it easy to attach on it, or we have to put another pad? Because it's not like on a roof, it's on a pad, so I don't know if we'd have to add.
From what I watched, it's going to be an exact replacement of what's there now, just newer. Same model, same company. And
Just newer.
just newer.
Wonderful.
How long did that one last?
20 years, he said. And it's like
Oh, it's more than
roughly
that.
$41,000.
Yeah. So, okay, that's good.
And they're hoping to have it done by mid-November, I think. They're trying to get in as fast as possible.
I mean, we didn't use a lot of propane the last year with the old system because it was down so often. We didn't really use a lot of propane. So.
It'll be more efficient than what you're doing now with the temporary.
Yes.
How efficient would it be?
And hopefully it'll have a lot more controls. I mean, that was literally, there were almost no controls on the heat in there. It was just, the old dials, like I said, it would be nice if it was programmable.
Yeah.
And we could sit there and say, okay, 6 a.m. we want it firing up, we want it up to and then firing down at 10 p.m. And follow up on 9, 10 action items. I don't know if we have the list of those.
I do. Fishing derby was one. I reached out to Sumner Brook Fish Farm where we've purchased the fish for the past, 20 years, plus 30 years. The price of fish did go up a little bit for an 8 to 10 inch. It's 3 1/4. We used to order about 200 and they were about $275 each. Speaking with the gentleman on the phone, he recommended that we do some changes, maybe mix it up, where instead of doing 200 fish at 8 to 10 inches in that small pond, maybe we reduce the number of fish, have a couple 8 to 10s, maybe 10 to 12s, and even possibly some of the big boys at 12 to 14. And then also mix brook trout with, I think he said rainbow trout. And so he believes it'll be a better environment for the fish and it'll be more competitive for the kids because then we could have the biggest, the smallest of the brook and the rainbow, etc. He still had all our information and he said get back to him around February, March, if we decide to go forward, and he'll work with me on getting them set up and delivered.
Excellent.
So I'm going to look at prices and try to figure out something. I'm also going to, I looked into a couple of the organizations you mentioned. One of them, Fish for Kids, I think was called, is strictly Wisconsin based.
Oh,
So
Okay.
then there's
Not
another, not global, not local around here anyways. Another one, Cast for Kids, is larger. They have more events in the U.S. They're focused on enriching the lives of children with special needs. So I'm going to talk to them. They have about 10 to 12 events that they do throughout the U.S. So I'm going to see if they have anything, suggestions around the area. And I'm also going to go talk to the people at Bass Pro to see what they have to offer for fishing and obviously donations, etc. If everything works, we're looking at possibly trying to get it in for the first week of May is usually when they do it. So May 5th of 2020. If not, it'll be 2021.
Let's see, we had liaison. So that's all. How's that going with the,
I reached out to Eddie. I haven't heard back. The one thing I did neglect to get from the two boys is real contact information. So I reached out to him on social media. He hasn't returned my message just yet.
you should have had Daniel's in the email too.
Yeah. Oh,
Came
yes,
to
he
the
did send her.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I'll contact him on that. As a refresher, now they said October, right? Not November.
October 26th.
Okay,
So the day after my,
yeah. Saturday, October 26th.
Yeah. Yep.
6 to 10, doors open at 7, 14 plus event. No alcohol would be served. So I need to get a hold of them and get them in to take a look at Dara to see what they have for ideas.
all right. Email the budget to the members. We all got that. Contact.
yeah, what was that? I can't remember what the $2,000 was for. Did you do that?
No, because I don't know what it was for.
Oh, budget's passed.
Yeah.
Oh.
Um,
Can't remember either.
Oh, I don't know if anybody contacted Mike about changing the combo. Actually, we don't want to change that combo yet.
No, I was gonna say, why would we change it? Why did we have that on there? Because it worked. I actually went down there this weekend and it was locked. I was like, okay,
And
good.
then, and this one, the large rocks to block ATV path at Innisfield. That was just rectification. I don't think anybody took ownership of that. So,
Is that something that we can just reach out to Kevin Brown and
Yeah.
see? Okay, I'll do that one.
okay. And contractor, that's all set. So,
Yeah, so that's all set.
all right, any other items?
Let me talk to Kevin. So minutes.
Oh, yes.
I need to understand, does anyone know why, I talked to Matt. Matt started doing minutes for us in February 2018. Prior to that, they were ad hoc. I mean, Peter.
Well, we have stuff.
We have some.
in the file.
We have some,
in that
right,
drive.
right. So I can, but do we know and I can reach out to Jim and find out, he wants from 2016 to present.
Right.
Is
So
Is there-
basically what we
that's a
need
lot
to
of
do-
reading. Is he focused in on something that we can just give him?
I don't know.
Okay.
But what we need to do and I know Mike started doing it, we just sort of need to get back on it, is anytime once we approve the minutes,
Yep.
we should create a PDF and then we have a folder. Do you have access to the drive?
Yep.
And then we'll share that drive with the town clerk, and that way the town clerk has access to it. And anybody
And
comes
that's
in and requests it, they can print it out and give it to them.
Okay. So approve, turn it into a PDF, send it to Donna. Is it Donna or?
We'll put it into the drive
Put it
and
in-
then give access, and we're giving
Share
access
it.
to the drive to Troy and
Donna.
Donna, and then, the town clerk's office.
Okay. All right.
That way they have it.
So let me ask, because I took over the secretary hat as
Yeah.
we did the bylaws, and the real only part of that role is really to maintain the records of the commission. So I'm going to use this as an opportunity to kind of help prompt me to do that. I think, getting both the minutes and agendas on the webpage, so people can just go to the webpage and not have to go to the town clerk, would be my preference. I think town clerk can certainly have them, but
Right.
we can have a public facing web, or
Yep.
use the website.
I can definitely I can start linking them. I don't know, it's an issue trying to link them. I tried before
Well, is there a way to create a folder
and dump
on
them
our
in there.
Google Drive and have a link that's open to the public and just have, knowing that drive, in other words, there's a place that you don't have to keep putting links on the site, but a folder somewhere that we
It
can.
points to the Google Drive with containing I can look, I'll check.
And we can,
I'll check that out.
maybe John Brunel can help with
Yeah,
that too.
yeah.
But yeah, if we
So-
can just work on getting all those converted to PDFs
Yeah.
into that folder, and that way the town clerk has it and she can print it out for anybody that requests.
So Andy, do you know if since 2018 or February, I know that Matt's been sending them to us.
Those have been, Mike
Had they been uploading them
convert- Mike has converted all
to our Google Drive?
all up through May. I did June, I think in July today. Just we converted them to PDFs and put them into that drive.
Okay.
Into that.
Okay.
So we just have
So
to
we just need to
go
do
back.
August and September. And then if we can find any minutes from, we can look and see if there's any gaps in the 2016, 2015, go back and,
Yeah, I think there's some gaps because I was looking, I couldn't see just in our email certain times and do that, but we just didn't have a
Yeah.
minutes taker at that time.
So alternatively, we have our video. Is there an
That's the other-
archived place that we could point people to for that?
Well, they are on YouTube.
Yeah, but how far, were they going back that far?
They went back to 2016. Yeah, I think they started videotaping us in 2015.
So the
Yeah.
problem is it's a lot of YouTube videos to watch to find the.
I don't know what he's looking for. I'll email him and I'll include the rec commission on
just
it.
caught me out. If there's something specific he's looking for, we can try and dig for him and save him the time, but.
See if anyone remembers. But okay, so Peter, then you'll start
Yep.
looking,
Yes.
and getting them. Okay. I'll also go in through our emails because you weren't here back then.
Sure.
And actually, if you talk to John Brunel, if there's a way to create a shared drive, so not a shared folder, but I know it used to be called team drives, but now Google's calling them shared drives. So we can make one shared drive that we know is public that we can get to the town clerk. Only PDFs go in there just because we don't want people messing with things.
Read only, PDFs only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I wonder how the selectmen do it.
I think John publishes it, manually publishes it. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, but it's got to be filed at the town clerk's office somehow
Right.
too. All right, any other business?
Did you ever I'm sorry, Steve, did you ever, about the porta potties? Did any of us get back to you on that question? Did you say something was wrong with the porta potties down at Sawmill? And you asked
yeah.
for some contact info?
Steve Weber responded and said he was going to reach out to, I think, the vendor to take care of it. I'm pretty sure it was Steve.
Okay.
So that's all set.
Yeah.
All right. So that was
But is
answered.
there a way, whose responsibility is
It's
that?
Dave's septic.
It's Dave's
Dave's
septic,
septic.
yeah.
Now,
And we have, but I can share, we have our, oh no. Yeah, we have a code, an account,
okay.
and a town account that I can give you. I'll send that out to
Yeah, so events
Did
like
you-
that'd be nice to.
I'll see the email that came in from Drew Trusted. It's the
Oh, yeah.
gentleman he's like a biologist. They were going to be tracking eels at the river access. You see that email? It came
No.
in tonight or today at 4:30.
I noticed it when I sat down. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
It sounds like they're going to be installing equipment down there. And he said to reach out if we had any questions or concerns.
Plan to install equipment tomorrow on the 25th.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Much of a notice. And I hope it's light equipment.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
only thing. I just don't know.
I'm
It's
assuming
not like
it's-
right in front of where the steps are to go in. And
Right. I am assuming it's probably going to be on the river's edge, and I would think it would be fairly small because if it's telemetry, it's probably picking up maybe sensors on the eels as they go by.
Right.
But is this something that shouldn't he request permission instead of just
Well, it sounds like
notifying
they contacted the town hall already.
Hmm.
And they told them just to notify us by email.
I mean, I think if they're planning to do it tomorrow, let's have them to put it in. If it's an eyesore or, gets in the way, then we can ask them to remove it. So that's sort of within our rights. But I mean, on its face, I don't really have a problem unless it's something.
no, me either. My only concern would be the neighbor.
Yeah.
First of all, that they're not going on encroaching
Yep,
on their
sure.
property. This has been an issue, and that it's not just like a giant machine that's sitting in the middle of the
the protocol to have something like this request and added. I can meet him down there. I'll respond to him, tell him I work from home, so I could take my lunch
Yeah, if you
break and
could,
get
just
down.
because and also letting us know 4:30 in the afternoon that
Yeah.
they're going to be down there tomorrow.
Right. And then December 1st, the gates will be closed.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully, like you said, it's a big piece of equipment. He's
Yeah.
not getting it down there. It's a small piece that he could carry down. I'll respond to him tonight and tell him to call me in the morning and I'll meet him down there.
Oh, are they just releasing?
My guess is they're putting some type of something down there that'll read like almost like a dog fence. They'll be able to track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the eels have a sensor or something on them.
Yeah. So it's probably like I don't want to call it a beacon, but something of that nature. Yeah, if you don't mind meeting them down there, just to sort of see what it is, and yeah, make sure they don't go onto any neighbors' properties.
For sure.
Good catch. Any other business?
I think that may be it.
All right, hearing none, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Carry 600. We're done in 50 minutes.
Yay!
Bad.
Yeah. Now I just have to go write a paper that I've been putting off.